Resistance in its most natural form is more than just a tool for building muscle. It is a way of speaking directly to the body, reminding it of its own strength and resilience. For many, the image of strength training conjures visions of heavy weights and intense, exhausting routines, but for older adults, resistance is subtle, precise, and profoundly transformative. When muscles contract against an opposing force, whether it is a light dumbbell, a resistance band, or even the body's own weight, the fibers experience micro tears. These micro tears are not harmful, they are intentional signals that activate repair pathways. Satellite cells, a form of adult stem cell residing in muscle tissue, awaken and begin the process of regeneration. They fuse with existing fibers, increase protein synthesis, and gradually restore lost mass and strength. This process reverses sarcopenia, the age-related loss of muscle tissue that silently diminishes independence and metabolic efficiency over decades. Muscle contraction also communicates with connective tissue. Tendons, ligaments, and fascia respond to mechanical tension by reorganizing collagen fibers, increasing tensile strength, and enhancing elasticity. This structural reinforcement protects joints, stabilizes posture, and reduces the risk of injury. Resistance does not merely build superficial bulk, it improves the integrity of the entire musculoskeletal system, allowing the body to bear weight more efficiently, move more fluidly, and respond to sudden demands with confidence. Even light resistance, performed consistently, sends the nervous system a clear message that the body is expected to function and adapt rather than decline. The cardiovascular system is also intricately involved in the response to resistance training. During muscle contraction, blood vessels are momentarily compressed, increasing pressure and triggering endothelial cells to release nitric oxide, a vasodilator that relaxes arteries and improves circulation. Over time, this enhances capillary density within muscles, allowing more efficient oxygen delivery and metabolic waste removal. Improved microcirculation supports not only muscle recovery but also the health of skin, nerves, and internal organs. In essence, the mechanical stress of resistance training has systemic benefits that ripple far beyond the targeted muscles. Metabolic function is profoundly influenced by regular resistance exercise. Muscle tissue is one of the largest consumers of glucose in the body, and maintaining or increasing muscle mass improves insulin sensitivity, stabilizes blood sugar, and reduces fat accumulation. These metabolic benefits are particularly critical after 50, when the risk of type 2 diabetes and metabolic syndrome rises. By preserving lean tissue and stimulating energy expenditure, resistance training creates an internal environment where cells can function optimally, inflammation is kept in check, and energy balance is more easily maintained. Resistance training also has a neurological dimension. Every contraction is controlled by motor neurons, which fire in precise patterns to recruit the necessary muscle fibers. As the body ages, these neural pathways can degrade, leading to slower reflexes, weaker coordination, and increased risk of falls. Regular resistance exercise maintains the integrity of these pathways, reinforces neuromuscular communication, and enhances proprioception, the body's awareness of its position in space. Stronger, more coordinated movements reduce the likelihood of accidents and support independence, which is a critical aspect of healthy aging. Hormonal signaling is another layer of adaptation. Resistance training elevates the production of growth hormone and IGF-1, both of which play a role in tissue repair, collagen synthesis, and cellular regeneration. Even modest increases in these hormones contribute to improved skin elasticity, bone density, and muscle resilience. This hormonal stimulation, combined with the mechanical and metabolic benefits of resistance exercise, creates a multidimensional approach to counteracting the physical effects of aging. The beauty of resistance training lies in its accessibility and adaptability. It does not require extreme intensity or advanced equipment. Simple exercises, chair squats, wall push-ups, banded rows, or light weightlifting, performed with consistency, are sufficient to activate these repair mechanisms. The body is remarkably responsive to repeated, moderate stimuli, and it interprets these signals as instructions to maintain youthfulness, strength, and structural integrity. Over time, consistent engagement with resistance training transforms the body in profound ways. Muscles regain mass, bones become denser, connective tissue stronger, metabolism steadier, and neuromuscular function sharper. This is not about temporary improvement or dramatic changes, It is about creating a persistent environment in which the body's own repair systems are activated daily, allowing older adults to reclaim movement, confidence, and resilience that many assume are lost with age. The message that resistance sends to the body is clear. You are expected to function, to adapt, and to thrive, and the body responds faithfully to that expectation. Cardiovascular rhythm, the gentle, sustained movement that elevates heart rate, is one of the most profound ways to communicate youthfulness to the body. Often, when people think of exercise for aging, they imagine lifting or stretching, but the rhythmic flow of blood through the body is equally vital. Moderate cardiovascular activity, walking briskly, cycling, swimming, or performing interval-based movement, creates a cascade of physiological events that refresh every tissue, organ, and cell. The body, after 50, begins to lose the efficiency of its circulatory system. Arteries stiffen, capillary networks shrink, and oxygen delivery to tissues slows. The subtle, repetitive motion of aerobic exercise counteracts these changes, forcing the cardiovascular system to adapt in ways that restore youthful function. During moderate intensity activity, the heart pumps more blood per beat, increasing shear stress along the walls of arteries. This mechanical signal stimulates endothelial cells to release nitric oxide, a molecule that relaxes vessels, improves elasticity, and enhances blood flow. The effect is not just temporary. Repeated exposure strengthens the vascular system over time, reduces systemic blood pressure, and decreases the risk of arterial damage. Every pulse becomes a conversation between heart and vessel, reinforcing the body's capacity to distribute life-sustaining nutrients and oxygen efficiently. The benefits of cardiovascular rhythm extend to cellular metabolism. Mitochondria, the energy factories within cells, respond to increased oxygen and nutrient delivery by producing more ATP efficiently, reducing the production of harmful reactive oxygen species that contribute to cellular aging. As muscles, organs, and even the brain receive improved blood flow, repair mechanisms are activated. Waste products that accumulate in tissues are flushed out, inflammation decreases, and cellular signaling becomes more precise. This is why regular aerobic activity has been linked not only to longevity but to the preservation of cognitive function, mood stability, and metabolic health. Cardiovascular movement also has a profound neurological impact. The rhythmic contraction of the heart and the flow of blood to the brain enhance the delivery of oxygen and glucose to neurons, improving synaptic plasticity and neurogenesis, particularly in regions associated with memory and executive function. Aerobic exercise stimulates the production of brain-derived neurotrophic factor, or BDNF, a chemical messenger that supports neural growth and repair. This is the body's way of saying that movement can protect the mind as effectively as it strengthens the body. Beyond internal physiology, cardiovascular rhythm enhances musculoskeletal efficiency. Repetitive movement strengthens postural muscles, improves gait, and maintains joint lubrication through increased synovial fluid distribution. Even subtle activities, like interval walking or gentle cycling, enhance coordination and balance because they require continuous adjustment and proprioceptive engagement. Over time, these adaptations prevent falls, preserve mobility, and allow older adults to maintain independence. There is also an emotional and systemic layer to this practice. Consistent aerobic movement activates the parasympathetic nervous system after exertion, lowering stress hormones such as cortisol and adrenaline. This shift reduces chronic inflammation, improves sleep quality, and enhances immune function. The body interprets moderate cardiovascular rhythm as a signal that the environment is safe and supportive, allowing repair and regeneration to take precedence over defensive stress responses. The beauty of cardiovascular exercise lies in its adaptability. It can be gentle yet effective, integrated into daily life, and scaled according to individual ability. Short sessions with intervals of effort and recovery can produce remarkable improvements in circulation, energy, and tissue repair. Even walking with mindful attention to posture, breathing, and pace engages muscles, enhances oxygen delivery, and stimulates vascular adaptation. Repeated practice over weeks and months remodels the cardiovascular system, creating stronger, more responsive arteries, more efficient heart function, and improved perfusion to muscles, organs, and the brain. The rhythm of the heart, guided by conscious movement, becomes a message to the body: function, adapt, repair, thrive. In this way, cardiovascular exercise is more than just endurance, it is a systemic rejuvenation that reaches every layer of physiology, quietly reversing aspects of age-related decline and fostering resilience that carries forward into every aspect of life. Balance and proprioception are often overlooked, yet they are fundamental pillars of vitality, particularly as we age. Our bodies are designed to sense their position in space, to detect shifts in weight, to adjust posture and coordinate movement almost automatically. This intricate system involves a network of sensors located in joints, tendons, muscles, and the inner ear, all communicating continuously with the central nervous system. Over decades, however, these sensory pathways gradually lose sensitivity. Nerve endings become less responsive, vestibular function in the inner ear declines, and subtle feedback from muscles and joints diminishes. The result is slower reflexes, diminished coordination, and an increased risk of falls. Exercises that challenge balance are not merely about preventing accidents. They are a way to maintain the integrity of these essential communication networks and keep the body functioning as a coherent, responsive whole. Activities that promote balance, such as Tai Chi, yoga, single leg stands, and stability exercises, engage the nervous system in a unique manner. Each movement forces the body to adapt to minor instability, requiring the brain to interpret sensory signals and adjust muscle activation patterns in real time. This continuous feedback loop strengthens neural pathways that control posture, reflexes, and coordination. Over time, these pathways become more efficient and resilient, even in the face of natural age-related decline. In essence, the body is being trained to listen more attentively to its own signals, reinforcing the connection between intention and movement. Balance training also affects muscle groups in ways that traditional strength exercises do not. Stabilizing muscles, those small but critical fibers around joints, are recruited constantly to maintain equilibrium. These muscles are often overlooked in standard workouts, yet they play a central role in everyday functionality. By engaging them consistently, the body develops a refined control over movements, which translates to smoother gait, safer transitions from sitting to standing, and greater confidence in navigating uneven surfaces. This functional improvement preserves independence, a key determinant of quality of life for seniors. Neurological benefits extend beyond coordination. Regular proprioceptive training stimulates neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to form new connections and adapt to change. Specific regions, such as the cerebellum and motor cortex, are strengthened, supporting not only balance but also cognitive function. Memory, attention, and reaction time are subtly enhanced, because these exercises demand focus, planning, and spatial awareness. The act of maintaining balance is simultaneously an exercise for the body and the brain, demonstrating the inseparable link between physical and cognitive health. Balance exercises also influence the vestibular system within the inner ear, which regulates equilibrium and spatial orientation. Gentle, controlled movements challenge this system, prompting it to remain active and adaptive. This engagement can prevent dizziness, improve posture, and stabilize gait. Even minor improvements in vestibular function reduce the risk of falls and fractures, which are among the most serious threats to senior health. The system's resilience is a form of internal insurance, protecting the body from both external hazards and the cumulative effects of age-related decline. There is a subtle metabolic benefit as well. Coordinated, balance-focused movements require multiple muscle groups to fire simultaneously, which increases caloric expenditure and promotes blood circulation without excessive strain. This gentle challenge supports cardiovascular health while also improving joint mobility. Because these exercises often involve slow, controlled motions, they reduce the risk of injury while maintaining an elevated heart rate sufficient to stimulate vascular adaptations. Emotionally, balance exercises build confidence and body awareness. The simple act of standing on one leg or performing a slow, deliberate motion strengthens the sense of physical mastery. Fear of falling diminishes, and a sense of autonomy is reinforced. Confidence in movement often translates into increased physical activity, creating a virtuous cycle in which the body continues to adapt positively. In practical terms, balance training can be integrated seamlessly into daily routines. Short sequences performed at home, combined with mindful attention to posture and controlled breathing, provide continuous stimulation for muscles, nerves, and the brain. Over months and years, this consistent engagement produces measurable improvements in stability, coordination, and overall vitality. The body retains a responsiveness that otherwise diminishes with age, preserving independence, agility, and confidence. Balance is not simply a physical skill, it is a dialogue between the body and the brain, a communication network that informs every movement, every adjustment, every step. By prioritizing proprioception and stability, older adults maintain the body's ability to respond accurately to internal and external challenges, reinforcing resilience, preventing decline, and quietly reversing the subtle losses that accumulate over time. Flexibility and mobility are often undervalued in discussions about aging, yet they form the subtle architecture that allows the body to move freely, respond efficiently, and maintain vitality. As we grow older, connective tissues lose elasticity, tendons stiffen, and cartilage begins to wear down. These changes are gradual, often imperceptible at first, but they slowly limit range of motion, reduce coordination, and increase the risk of injury. Unlike strength or cardiovascular exercise, which primarily target muscles or the heart, flexibility and mobility work directly with the soft tissues, the joints, and the surrounding connective structures. They restore the body's natural capacity to bend, reach, twist, and extend without strain, preserving the fluidity of movement that signals youth and resilience. The practice of stretching, whether static or dynamic, communicates to tissues that they are expected to remain supple. When muscles are lengthened in a controlled way, fibers are encouraged to reorganize, fascia is hydrated, and joint capsules are lubricated. Synovial fluid, the natural lubricant within joints, circulates more effectively during movement, reducing friction and preventing stiffness. These improvements in tissue mechanics make daily activities, rising from a chair, reaching overhead, bending to pick up objects, easier and safer. Each motion, repeated consistently, reinforces the idea that the body is capable, adaptive, and supported, rather than rigid and declining. Flexibility exercises also influence circulation in profound ways. Stretching and mobility movements enhance blood flow to muscle fibers and connective tissues, delivering oxygen and nutrients while removing metabolic waste. This improved perfusion not only supports repair but also reduces inflammation that can accumulate in sedentary or aging tissues. The effect extends beyond the immediate area being stretched. Connective tissue networks throughout the body benefit from enhanced circulation, reinforcing systemic health and resilience. Neurologically, mobility and flexibility exercises engage the proprioceptive system, similar to balance training, but in a way that emphasizes control through full ranges of motion. Nerve endings in muscles and tendons respond to stretch, sending continuous feedback to the central nervous system. Over time, this feedback improves coordination, timing, and spatial awareness. The nervous system learns to anticipate the body's movements, allowing smoother transitions, better posture, and reduced strain on joints. Flexibility thus supports both the mechanical and neurological dimensions of movement, creating a harmony between intention and execution. Breath and movement are intertwined in effective flexibility routines. Deep, conscious breathing during stretching enhances parasympathetic activation, reducing sympathetic stress responses that can tighten muscles and restrict blood flow. The body interprets slow, deliberate exhalations combined with stretch as a signal that it is safe to relax and lengthen. This mindful approach improves muscle relaxation, reduces tension, and increases the depth of mobility gains, while simultaneously calming the nervous system and supporting mental focus. Dynamic mobility routines, in particular, mimic real-life movement patterns and prepare the body for functional tasks. Controlled leg swings, torso rotations, arm circles, and gentle lunges maintain joint integrity and stimulate stabilizing muscles. Over time, these movements preserve gait efficiency, agility, and the ability to respond quickly to environmental challenges. Older adults who practice mobility consistently report less stiffness, improved balance, and greater confidence in performing daily activities without fear of injury. Flexibility also plays a role in muscle preservation. Muscles that are regularly stretched are less prone to tightness and shortening, which can otherwise limit strength gains from resistance exercise. When muscles maintain their optimal length-tension relationship, they contract more efficiently, produce more force, and support joint mechanics effectively. In this way, mobility training complements strength work, creating a balanced, resilient musculoskeletal system. Emotionally, the act of moving fully through one's range of motion reinforces a sense of capability and body awareness. Each controlled stretch is a reminder that the body can still respond, adapt, and function with grace. This builds confidence, reduces fear of movement, and encourages more physical activity, which compounds benefits across strength, endurance, and balance. Daily attention to flexibility and mobility transforms the body over months and years. Joints remain lubricated, muscles remain pliable, connective tissue remains hydrated, and movement patterns remain efficient. Aging becomes less about restriction and stiffness and more about sustained capability. Each deliberate, fluid motion sends a signal throughout the body that it is meant to operate fully, recover effectively, and continue functioning at a high level, quietly reversing some of the limitations commonly associated with aging. Breath-centered movement is perhaps the most subtle yet profoundly transformative form of exercise for aging bodies. While strength, endurance, balance, and flexibility are visible measures of vitality, breath serves as the invisible rhythm that ties them all together. Every cell in the body relies on oxygen, not just for energy, but for communication, repair, and signaling. As we age, lung capacity diminishes slightly, alveoli lose some elasticity, and oxygen delivery to tissues becomes less efficient. Deliberate, controlled breathing during movement counteracts these subtle declines, optimizing the body's internal environment and creating conditions in which repair and rejuvenation can occur naturally. When breath is synchronized with movement, the cardiovascular system responds in a coordinated manner. Inhalation expands the chest cavity and diaphragm, allowing lungs to fill efficiently. Oxygen-rich blood is then pumped through the circulatory system, feeding muscles, joints, and organs that are simultaneously engaged in exercise. Exhalation, particularly when controlled, activates the parasympathetic nervous system, reducing sympathetic stress signals, lowering cortisol, and promoting relaxation. This combination of oxygen delivery and stress reduction creates a systemic environment conducive to tissue repair, collagen synthesis, and mitochondrial function. Over time, the nervous system becomes attuned to this rhythm, interpreting movement as safe and restorative rather than stressful. Breath-centered exercises also influence the musculoskeletal system in ways that other exercises alone cannot. Coordinating inhalation and exhalation with stretching or controlled resistance enhances joint mobility by allowing tissues to relax at the moment of maximal stretch. This improves range of motion, reduces stiffness, and protects connective tissues from injury. The timing of breath can act as a natural limiter, preventing overextension while encouraging full engagement of muscle fibers. In this way, the body learns to move fully, efficiently, and safely, maintaining the fluidity of motion that often diminishes with age. Neurologically, breath-centered movement enhances proprioception and focus. When attention is placed on inhalation and exhalation, the brain strengthens pathways involved in motor planning, sensory integration, and movement control. Older adults who practice mindful, breath-linked exercises often report improved coordination, stability, and awareness of their body in space. This effect is compounded when breath-centered movement is combined with other modalities such as yoga, Pilates, or functional mobility drills, because the body is simultaneously challenged physically, metabolically, and neurologically. Mitochondrial health is another beneficiary of breath-centered practices. Deep, controlled breathing ensures that oxygen reaches the smallest capillaries, where mitochondria reside. Efficient oxygen delivery allows mitochondria to produce ATP more effectively, reducing the production of reactive oxygen species and limiting oxidative stress. Cellular repair processes are supported, inflammation is mitigated, and energy metabolism remains balanced. In essence, breath becomes a tool for cellular rejuvenation, feeding the engines of every tissue in the body. Emotional and cognitive benefits are closely intertwined with the physical effects of breath-centered exercise. Slow, deliberate breathing reduces anxiety, improves focus, and enhances mental clarity. The nervous system interprets calm, rhythmic respiration as a signal of safety, allowing restorative hormonal processes to dominate over stress-driven ones. Cortisol levels decline, while growth hormone, melatonin, and other repair-promoting factors are allowed to function optimally. Over time, these neuroendocrine adjustments reinforce resilience, protect cognitive function, and support emotional stability. Practically, breath-centered movement is highly adaptable. It can be integrated into resistance training, aerobic exercise, balance routines, or flexibility sessions. Even simple practices, such as coordinating inhalation with lifting and exhalation with lowering, or maintaining slow diaphragmatic breathing during stretches, produce meaningful systemic effects. The consistency of practice, rather than intensity, determines the long-term benefits, because the body responds to repeated, reliable signals that support repair and vitality. Daily attention to breath transforms the internal environment of the body in ways that are invisible yet measurable. Oxygen delivery improves, metabolic processes become efficient, inflammation is reduced, and the nervous system remains balanced. Muscles, joints, and connective tissues respond more effectively to other forms of exercise, amplifying the benefits of strength, cardiovascular, balance, and flexibility work. Breath-centered movement quietly orchestrates these systems, creating harmony between mind, body, and physiology. When older adults embrace breath as an integral part of movement, they are not merely exercising, they are teaching their bodies to function optimally at every level. Each deliberate inhalation and exhalation becomes a signal to cells, tissues, and organs that they are supported, capable, and intended to operate with resilience. Over months and years, this practice strengthens the very foundations of life itself, helping the body to maintain energy, coordination, and repair capacity while subtly reversing some of the decline associated with aging. If you found these insights helpful and want to continue learning practical, science-backed strategies to stay healthy, strong, and vibrant as you age, don't forget to like this video, share it with friends and family who could benefit, and subscribe to our channel for daily senior wellness tips, nutrition guidance, and simple lifestyle hacks designed to enhance longevity and quality of life. Hit the notification bell so you never miss a new video that can help you live healthier, happier, and more empowered every day.